few babies. So, guys, thank you so much for coming in and having this beautiful conversation about your story, your creation story, Joanna's creation story, your family's creation story. I think that for me, yes, Joanna, I agree. It's very exciting. But I know that it doesn't start that way, right? I think that one of the biggest things that we can say is that it would be nice if it was that straightforward. When we start with the end result, it's lovely. But I'm sure that you guys will tell us how this all began for you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriella.
Oh, so lovely to have you. So tell me a little bit about how this story began.
Okay, I might just get started then. Well, it has been a long, long, long journey, and it's still unbelievable that we are having this little monkey here with us. Yeah, just even just last couple of days as we were thinking back what happened and when it was started. Oh my God. So it has been almost 9 years, I think, when I first heard about you, Gabriella.
Wow.
And yeah, it just so many things happened before we even joined the program with you. So just a couple of things to mention. Pretty much we have our the daughter, Annabella, who was born in 2017, June. And that time we lived in Australia and Perth, and that's how we actually heard about you, Gabriella. So initially, pretty much we just attended the 14-day fertility challenges a couple of times. I can't believe how many times. And I remember those mornings we were sipping the ginger
The lemon
shots
drink.
and
Oh, the
taking
flashbacks.
selfies of us. That was good fun. Yeah, so
That
basically,
part has not changed, Erzsebet. You know that everybody else is going through that same situation right now. In fact, today we have a fertility challenge that is in day 2. So
that's a
So good luck for that.
that's a really good one. Yeah, yeah. So everyone can just join that, and yeah, that's really good. So other than that, we tried everything pretty much. Yeah, like so Annabella eventually. So we had a natural conception with her, just with some medication prescribed, but other than that, it was a natural one. And after that, we wanted to have a sibling for her.
how old was Annabella when you decided to have, or that you wanted to have a second one?
Oh, pretty much 1.5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that a year later she was born. Much we want. Well, I was breastfeeding for a year, and then afterwards, yeah, we wanted to try, and yeah, and with not much success, so I had 2 miscarriages afterwards, and yeah, we just went to a Chinese doctor, endocrinologist. Tried all sort of natural, like supplements taken prescribed by naturopaths, and acupuncture and detoxification and
We
whatsoever
tried everything,
which was
literally.
available to us, like
Yeah.
normally. We even tried yoga and herbs and juices and all sort of things. And then we had a big change in our life because we moved back to Europe in 2019, and yeah, went to gynecologist here, and started our journey over here with them. Lots of things, stressful time for us as well.
Yeah.
But obviously it was also interconnecting, because we moved back to Europe, but not just because we moved back. We wanted to move back because we had the free options here with the IVF. So it was a lot of things that it might be simple that we just moved back because of the family, but it was also huge contribution that we wanted to try everything. So
yeah. So it's interesting, isn't it, how fertility difficulties and challenges affect so many different aspects of life, right? Like even to the point of where you choose to go and live, and yeah, it's amazing how the impact it has.
Definitely, yes. And yeah, just finding your way, it just has been really, really challenging, seriously. And the COVID came just after we moved back. And yeah, we took the vaccinations as well, which I believe that has also an effect on us, of course, in a good and a bad way. But truly, I also believe that has slowed down our process as well.
but also in my case, the COVID sickness was also affecting my results, which was fine. We figured out with you guys on the way. So there was a lot of things what we didn't expect, and it happened, and you had to just adjust to it. And then the war came, and finances and everything. So it was not easy.
Definitely not a straightforward situation.
Not at all.
Especially throw a pandemic in the middle of it all, and yeah, it definitely. And I mean, look, you guys, it's interesting because you've mentioned that you had, a couple of miscarriages before Annabella, but then you also had about 2 or 3 afterwards. So that we had a picture here of recurrent miscarriage. There was definitely some big kind of items that hadn't really yet been identified all that well. So I can only imagine, each time that you'd get pregnant and then what that would feel like to just be disappointed again. What was going through your minds through that time as well?
Well, definitely it was like, every time we're losing a bit of hope, like, is it ever gonna happen to us? What else we need to do? What is we haven't tried yet?
And were you getting tested like before you came to us? Because at what point did you then decide, okay, you had done the fertility challenge, then you decided, all right, we better do something more. At what point was that? Like, at what point did you feel like, okay, I no longer want to keep going around, trying different things. I need a proper strategy, so to speak. What happened there?
Yeah, I remember, first I ordered your book. And that was a fantastic resource. I read every page and highlighted things and studied properly.
Shared it with me, to put the seeds
Shared with
in
you,
the
Frank.
ground.
Read it. You must
listen to all your videos, which was available, and I just knew that that is the one which can help us. And initially, just it wasn't available, and the program wasn't available to us financially, so we were not in a position to just join straight away. But it was always in the back of my head that this is what we should do. This is what we should do, and I kept telling Frankie that this is it, and I just didn't want to hear about it anymore because we had so many other things and priorities. And so we just went along our way, and then locally we had 2 inseminations in 2020 and 2021. No success. That's when our doctor recommended here that we should go to the this artificial, what was this called? Artificial Reproductive Center, which was just opened around that time here locally. So it was a good opportunity. And yeah, we that's where we knew that, okay, we need something else. But still, like, we had our first appointment, and I remember that one. I couldn't attend personally because of COVID, and then I just had a phone call with the doctor, and yeah, I told them things about myself, and the first stuff was, he said, yeah, you should lose 10 kilos and then come back to me. And I said, oh my God, like, how am I gonna manage all this at that time? And yeah, that was that. I said I just couldn't do this on my own, really. And
But were you overweight at that time? I don't remember you being that
I was,
overweight. You
yeah, like
were,
all,
okay.
I guess all the stress with the move, and
Right.
starting a new life, and yeah, it just all put stress on us, and the weights as well. So yeah, we just kept doing our stuff, and yeah, still nothing. And then what was a good thing about your team, that every time, like time to time, I got these follow-up calls from your people, that, hey, how you doing, and what you thinking, and also, yeah, just putting it to my head. And one I can't remember how, but somehow it came up the option that we can actually raise some fund, like through our superannuation, just to use that fund for such purpose, like a treatment, medical treatment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was it. It really helped us out. And yeah, that's when I knew that, okay, now we can do it. So this was like June 2021. Yeah, when we joined your program eventually.
It's
So
amazing, isn't
happy.
it? How sometimes life has to align with desires to make things happen. But it's amazing how, when you don't lose hope and you just keep going, sometimes things just come together. It's just so lovely to hear that.
Yeah, like, especially me, I just try not to give up things easily. But yeah, I just still knew, like, what was it? I was 42 at that time, and I still knew that there is a way, there must be a way, and I just couldn't accept the fact that no more.
Yeah. And
So
Frank, what about you? Were you excited when you finally were able to join the program as Elizabeth, or were you kind of like, oh my God, now I have to do all this stuff?
No, well, I was excited. I was more stressed about, the finances, because that was not easy to support the family and also make sure that we have money for everything. And as I told you in the beginning, that it was more and more stressing, that everything has changed, that you cannot control, but then you have to, uh, pay so much things, because obviously it was even more stressful for us, because we moved to a country where there is a different currency, and the two things just went like 180-degree to each other, and it was something that you couldn't control, and that was really, really difficult as a father to handle.
Yeah, yeah. There are so many complicating factors, aren't there, when it comes to fertility and family and babies and, all of that. What were some of the things that kept you going, do you think? Like, what is it that made you go, okay, this is hard, but I want to persevere?
Well, I had to support the family, so I couldn't do anything else. Just
But you
put
could have
my
also
yeah,
effort in it,
decided,
and
that's
you know what, we don't want to have a baby anymore. You could have decided to stop.
well, I think it was on my side.
well, it was more
He's like, oh no,
Elizabeth.
he couldn't. Oh no, he couldn't.
Yeah, I just from my point of view, I knew that like once I joined the program, and even before, like, knowing about your fertility challenges and all that, I knew that whatever is going to happen, it's going to be good for our health. So yeah, independent of the result, it's going to be good for us. And it was basically, like, I knew that we were in such good shape, like long into the program, a couple of months later, that we what's that? Move on. And yeah, like, it was a fantastic program. I can say that we discovered a lot of things about ourselves, our health mostly, which we didn't know before. But yeah, even just simply the meal planner and doing all the things recommended to us. It was a good journey, and we did it together. Probably that was the main thing, that both of us were involved equally.
Yeah. And I think that makes such a huge difference. And you touched on a couple of the things that you learned through the program, but I think that there's so much that often we forget. So I actually went through the whole file again to go, what were some of the things that we were dealing with, and there was so many things. There was shortened cycles, there was adrenal factors, there was hormonal imbalances on both sides, there were some thyroid issues, thyroid antibodies, microbiome, implantation failure. Obviously we had 5 miscarriages, so we started to think about, okay, what else is going on here, right? And we found some genetic factors that we needed to address. Then of course there was some some sperm issues that we also had to improve. And of course, there's always the underlying things that are not the usual that you see just from a normal semen analysis, and there was some kind of underlying overgrowth of microorganisms and things that we needed to improve in terms of motility, morphology. But it's amazing to see, like, because we don't think of these things when we're going through it. We think like there has to be one big reason as to why this is not happening, right? We think like, oh, surely it can't be a whole lot of these little things that are getting in the way. It has to be one big thing. And unfortunately, this is why so many people get diagnosed, quote unquote, with unexplained infertility, because right here I have a page long of different aspects, that ultimately were playing a role in your particular situation. But I think that from what I understand, and correct me if I'm mistaken, none of your doctors outside of the program really outlined these factors or issues that were getting in the way for you, right? And so there was a lot of confusion as to, okay, well, why is this not working? Right? How did you both navigate that part of, like, going through having miscarriages, having treatment, not being successful through treatment? Did you have questions in your mind, or were you pretty clear about what was happening?
No, we were
No,
not
definitely
clear.
we were not clear about what was going on. And yeah, later on, I remember that I kept hearing it from you through your program, that you don't know what you don't know, really, like, and that was it. Like, it's not that. Hey. Yeah, it's just a question mark is in your head, that why is this happening to me? What do I need to do? Like, why is it happening to someone else and not to me? Like, I'm doing everything right. I'm not smoking. I'm not doing this and that, and still, like, what else do I need to do? That was always the question in my head. And you just go to different specialists, and then obviously they're just only looking at one part of the whole picture. not holistically, and you try to feed your mind with that information you receive and believe that, yeah, this is it and probably this is going to help, but then no, it's not. So yeah, it was too confusing and so easy to lose hope. But yeah, somehow I just, yeah, that was a good thing about your program, and what I learned, that your clinic and the whole concept is that you're looking at things holistically, so everything is affected, and that was the thing which I really liked.
And there is a place where you can go and ask anything. Like, you know, when I went to the andrologist, and they said that your sperm is like a 60 years old man, and I asked what can I do about it, and they said nothing.
Yeah. How was that for you to receive that? And I mean, obviously, we know that there was lots of things we could do about it, and we so did. But how was that to receive that information for you?
Yeah, it was hard because I didn't know what to do. So that's when we called you that, okay, we get this information, what should we do about that? And then we get the support from you that you were actually putting effort to figure out that what could happen.
Yeah. And then what happened once you did all the things?
Well, it got back to normal. So
Yeah, and I mean, the sperm, it's one of those really interesting things, isn't it? That we often underestimate and I don't have the exact numbers here, but I do have it noted that we had fluctuating sperm concentration. There was low motility, and there was also a Gardnerella, infection that was treated. And it's really interesting how, when you look at all of these things together and are told something like you have you have the sperm of a 6-year-old, and you're like, okay, but what can I do about it? It's like, well, actually, there's so much. There's so much that we can do about it, and of course, going through and doing it. And kudos to you, Frank, because, like, the reality is that it is hard. Most men find it really difficult to look at their results from the perspective of even going to do it, because they think like, oh no, there can't be something wrong with my sperm, right? And then they feel like, okay, well, what am I going to do about this if there is something? But you were really not only brave, but you went, you did your testing, you got, figuring out what is happening and what do I do about it. You took action. So that is just such a wonderful, wonderful thing, from your perspective. How did it feel once you then saw your results after you did all of that? How did it feel for you?
well, I was happy because I know that there is always something that you can put into it, and then it changes the circumstances.
Yeah. Did you think that that was going to be possible before you did it, or did you did you think, oh, maybe, I don't know if this is something that's possible? What were your thoughts? Did you think it was possible to change, or did you think that it wasn't
I
when
think
you
I'm
got the
also the
news?
kind of person that I always think that there is always something that you can do about things. So I just, don't let things to happen just because someone said that you cannot do it. Just, believe and accept it. So obviously I was like, okay, we have to ask you guys that what are you thinking, what we should do, and then we might be able to do something, or at least try to do something.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about for you, Erzsebet? Were there things that were uncovered through the process that were challenging for you?
Yes, definitely. I mean, this weight loss was a big thing for me. I could have never thought, like, I knew that, yes, I'm doing some exercises and eating less, and probably that will help. but obviously that didn't really work. So what we discovered was this what is called insulin resistance.
Insulin resistance, yeah.
Yeah, which then once we found out about this, then it could be managed, but in a better way, and then that was helped me losing weight.
Yeah, and for you, there were a couple of factors. There was the insulin resistance piece, and there was also the thyroid piece, the hypothyroid. And so, looking at all of those factors combined, definitely did the nutritional piece, once you started the program and you started treating the insulin resistance, did that become easier for you to shift some weight, or what was the situation? Or was it still a bit of a struggle?
Definitely it helped. But I think first what was challenging and difficult, that you don't know why, like for example, the meal suggestions. Yes, we try to follow it as much as possible, but sometimes there was always a time when you couldn't buy that ingredient, or you just didn't have the time to make that, and this, and then we fell back. And once we became aware of the whole situation, that not eating sugar for morning, for example, for breakfast, once I knew and learned about this, then definitely it helped more.
Yeah.
So educate, like we received so much education from your team about the whole issues, and same with Frankie as well. I think him having this liver problem as well, and just digestion issues. So everything was so customized. That was the main thing, of course, because you hear there's so much information out there. You think that from media and stuff, that probably this could help and that could help, but until it's actually customized to your situation and your own body and health and everything, then it's not it's not the best at all.
Yeah. I mean, it takes time, doesn't it, to disentangle, okay, what's actually going to help me? Because it's one thing for you to look at something and say, oh, okay, in this population, this happened. But then you're kind of like, okay, but how does it apply to me? Is it something that I should do? And often, either I see this very frequently when people start doing things that are not the thing that they need to be doing, they get discouraged because they go, well, I'm doing everything that I'm quote unquote told, but nothing is working. And it's like, well, actually, it's that for you, we need to change this and we need to do it in this way as opposed to doing it in this other way. Right. And I think that distinction is what you're saying is so important, because so many people don't realize that there isn't a one size fits all when things haven't been straightforward. You see, so your situation is one of those, like you had multiple different aspects of things going on, from clotting factors to microbiome factors to some BV aspects that we needed to address. So there were like lots of things that were impacting, from a immunological component, from a hormonal component, that obviously had led to miscarriages, but also the treatments that hadn't worked. So tell me a little bit more about the journey. So, you started the program, you started feeling, you started the program, you started feeling a little bit better. Johanna wants to be seen and heard, and Annabella's like, yes, this is not happening for me. Love it. And so what was it that you started, you put in place, obviously starting the program, you started to go through what you needed to go through. What happened in that process? Obviously, aside from the findings, there was a point where you then started to continue to move forward on your fertility journey. So tell me a little bit more about how that evolved.
Yeah, so I think a big thing was to me that, you know, there's always an option to like, instead of conceiving naturally, you can have a assisted way. And as mentioned earlier, we did have this reproductive center here in our country, and yeah, we wanted to take the opportunity. Also, it was a good thing that through yeah, it is a possibility that you can actually take 5 fertility treatments for free if you're a citizen. I don't mind. So we said, okay, now let's do it. Like, we are stupid not to take advantage of this. Yeah, so we went, started first. Yeah, one came after the other. No success, and the first one was just really difficult. Really, when finding out that yeah, we did everything and didn't work. First IVF, and then the second came. Try again. Okay, still nothing, and all the hormonal, you know, ups and downs, and everyone who's gone through that know that it's just not easy managing it through, you know, work and all your life and other kid and yeah, but still you just cannot give up. So we went again 3 times and 4 times, and yeah, just so much effort to be put into this, you know, the like traveling to the to the center, because it was like 100 kilometers away from us, and a consultation with the doctor, and such a lost waiting list. By the time you get your next appointment, it's like 2-3 months ahead, and waiting. Okay, you're preparing for the next, and what can I do until then? I get in. You just tried everything, but still we kept going with the program in the beginning, and also with everything we learned. So even later on, when we couldn't afford doing the program anymore, we just said that yeah, we learned a lot, so let's just continue with that knowledge. And we did. And yeah, and our last hope, I would say that even I remember I went to pretty much the last consultation with the doctor here, IVF doctor here, who said that, okay, hey, due to your age and everything, you can still do another one. That was my last option, but he didn't recommend it. He said just the same outcome it would be. And he brought up the option that, hey, you can do something else, which again, it wasn't like I had no information about this earlier, just to go for egg donation. But this wasn't available in our country. We had to go somewhere else. So a lot of decisions we had to make, that, you know, is it worth, should we do it, like how much more effort we should put into this. And I remember when I came home from the doctor consultation, and I told my husband that, hey, this is what I was told, and what, like, I was waiting that what is gonna be Frankie's reaction. And surprisingly, he wasn't against it.
Go Frankie.
Yeah, Frankie. And I was surprised, really. Like, I thought that, no, this is it. Like, he's not gonna accept this, and he's not gonna like this. And he said, yeah, I don't mind. Like, and even doctors said that it's just a small part that egg is not yours, but everything else you go through
Exactly.
is you.
You know, it's the really interesting thing that I always say to people when we get to this point where, you know, we've identified so many different things, we've treated so many different things, and if it's still not working, at what cost do you continue trying the same strategy over and over and over again, right? And so this is where sometimes we will say to people, have you thought about, you know, donor egg? Because it's one of those things that it does give you the opportunity to have a baby. And if you want a baby more than you want a way of having a baby, that's the perfect, you know, idea once you've optimized and improved everything else. So tell me a little bit about this decision, because obviously, you know, when it comes to doing donor egg, and you've mentioned what I say to people all the time, which is an egg on its own can do nothing, right? Literally, it will freeze and it will die, and that's it, right? So you do need, obviously, quality sperm, and you need a host, a gestational carrier, mom, to be able to develop and grow that baby. And if you think about it, when you are going down that path, one of the things that's happening is that it is you entirely generating the environment that's going to support and sustain the development of that embryo into a fetus, into a baby. So the epigenetic input, i.e. the environment that gives the instructions to that egg's genes, is all you. All of the building blocks are all you, right? And so from that perspective, I almost see there being not very much difference when you're the one carrying that baby. And then, of course, we get into the philosophical question of, you know, what is it to be a parent? Is it that you give birth to a child, or is it that you raise a child? You know, and there's obviously a combination of all of those factors within being a parent. But what were the feelings that you guys, you know, like, how did you guys make this decision? Was it an easy decision to make? Was it a hard decision to make? How did it kind of pan out for you?
You want to say?
To go for a donor egg, or
Yeah.
well, to be honest, from my side, I was on that point that I want to do, I want to live my life instead of, you know, like
Trying to have a
continuously
baby.
falling. So I said to Liz that if this is the last chance that she needs to let it go, if it doesn't happen, then that's all what we can spend on it. But I think we should put down a point that, okay, we don't go further.
So that was for you the kind of like, okay, we will do this as the last kind of attempt, and after this we either close this book and start a new book,
Yeah.
or we start a new chapter in the same book. That's kind of like how it was for you, Frank.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
And what
was.
about for you, Elizabeth? What was the thinking for you, the mindset around all of this?
Well, it felt so weird to me initially.
The donor egg piece, or
yeah,
okay.
the donor egg piece. I mean, even I remember back then when the whole artificial thing was just not me. But then I had to accept the fact that if it doesn't happen naturally, then I have to try something else. So this was the same with donor egg as well. I said, okay, then I think what gave me the courage that that Frankie wasn't against it, and then it made me
Yes.
thinking that, okay, should we really then give it a try? Even the doctor suggested. He said, this is your last piece. And what also got me that how come that it's something which is not legally allowed here in our country, but it is in somewhere else. So yeah, putting this all together, I said to myself that, so why not? Like, what can we lose, really? And yeah, so we applied. The process was so smooth. Yeah, I cannot believe, like, when everything so smoothly. And when we went to the treatment, the way how we actually looked at this was that we're just going for holiday.
Oh, you would have been
Wasn't it?
lovely.
Well, it pretty much felt like you are on a holiday and you just have to enjoy it.
Should have to
That's
pay a bit
exactly
more.
it. I think just life in general should just be that. You know, wherever you are, you're just on a holiday. Let's go.
Yeah, so we had to go, like, two visits we had, and the first one was just tests and introduction and all that, and then second time when it really happened. And yeah, the atmosphere and everything was just like, pretty much I said, okay, let's just have a getaway and then see what we come back with.
Oh, that is fabulous.
And
So
still, I
how?
remember that. Sorry.
Yeah. No,
The
go ahead.
doctor, yeah, the doctor at the clinic said to me, or the assistant, that, "Oh, you're gonna be pregnant in a month or so," and yeah, like, of course you tend to discuss that. What is your next step if this is not gonna happen? Then yeah, what still and all that. And she said, "Oh, yeah." She was so confident. I can't believe still that she said to us that, "Oh, you're gonna be pregnant. Trust me."
Well, I mean, the thing about it is that also you guys had done a lot of preparation to get to this point, right? So it wasn't like you were just, doing nothing. You had done a lot to get ready, right? To get to that point. And usually when you're getting to that point prepared, it's amazing how much more straightforward it is, right? And also because we had already identified these immunological components about
Yeah.
miscarriage. So it's like, okay, oh, for some reason it's telling me that it's not being recorded on your end. Don't know why. Let's see, something happened. Did you guys press anything
No.
on your end? Okay, that's odd. Let me just
Says the
see.
recording stopped because of low browser storage.
Oh. Oh, that's not good. Let's see. Is there a way that we could restart it?
But is it on your side or our side?
It's on your side.
Riverside desktop app. Free up some space.
See if
I
we
think
can
he's
do
looking
that. Sure. You don't want to miss the best part of the story.
Sorry for that. We didn't expect
That's okay. No,
this
it's
thing.
fine. You see, this is what I'm saying. There's always some fun and excitement that happens. This is why we make this super casual, and also your beautiful final version will be edited, so this will not be there at all. We just need to make sure that it's being recorded. Otherwise, we're going to miss that. And Joanna and Annabelle are going to miss their part. Can't have that happen.
I did my best. So
All
I'm not sure
right.
if...
It's still uploading. It's still not recording.
But it says reds on the top, so I think it's recording. It's just
No,
now
it's recording my side, but not yours. Let me see. Whoops. I just turned you off, turned you back on. Yeah, it's odd. Okie dokie. Yeah, it's recording on my side. Is it saying rec on your side,
yes,
Frank? Because it's not on mine. It is on yours? Okay.
yes.
So then let's continue the conversation, hope for the best. If we need to, we can always come back to this little portion later.
Yeah.
But so Erzsebet, you were saying about how she was very confident, the nurse that was supporting you, and she thought that you were going to be pregnant right away. And I was saying how, you had done a lot of preparation. So how did it unfold from there?
Yeah, so then I went for the first test. I remember I couldn't even bother taking this pregnancy test at home. Like I said, just after
I get it.
that's so many attempts and all that, I said, it's just whatever. But yeah, the clinic said that you need to take the blood test, and that's the official one. I said, okay, I will do it, and yeah, went. And first one, like I can't remember what was the this HCG or
HCG,
yeah, which they were looking at. It was quite low on the first blood test, and yeah, the nurse said that it's not the best one, but yeah, let's try a week later. So went for another blood test a week later, and that was better. And again, I even went for a third one, still like increased, was better. And then took the first ultrasound, and yeah, it was just there and happened, and it was just I think in our minds, like we couldn't digest the information. Yeah, it happened, but no, we didn't. We were so afraid of believing it that it's reality, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah,
At what point did you kind of feel like, okay, this is real?
When we went through the critical time, because usually we always lost the pregnancy on the 6-8 week mark. So when we were like 12 weeks, then we were like, okay, so it's happening to us.
And how did that feel, Frank? Like how did that, what was happening in your mind around all that?
Well, it was a big relief that we finally achieved what we went for, and it was definitely giving us some free space, like in the video. You just had to delete some things to kind of keep uploading. So yeah, it was really difficult because you always kept believing and then fail and keep believing and fail. So it kind of became sort of, we kind of avoid putting emotions to it. So that's why it needed some time. When Liz was pregnant, then we can actually now believe it.
Yeah.
So it was also a long process on that sense. That
I remember.
Look, I mean, you guys had such a long journey, so it's totally understandable. What were you going to say, Erzsebet?
I remember we were celebrating Frankie's 40th birthday with all the friends, and it was a big party. And at that time, I think this was around 11 week of our pregnancy or something. But that event, we didn't say it to anyone, really. And afterwards we heard from friends that we knew it. Yes, you could look pregnant or something like that. You got all these feedbacks, and no one wanted to say anything. We didn't say anything either. But looking back,
It's like,
they could see something
yeah,
on
yeah.
me.
Well, there is the glow, the pregnancy glow that happens,
Yeah, exactly.
on both of you, really, which is lovely. So,
Yeah,
oh my
probably that
goodness,
relief and that happiness. So yeah, it then happened, and I also remember throughout the pregnancy, month to month, we went to the ultrasound checkup for
yeah,
doctor, and our doctor said every time we went that, "Oh, congratulations, mama! Congratulations, mama!" And it was so weird that why is he congratulating me to just having this ultrasound? Because he could see obviously that everything was
yeah,
fine, and considering my age, yeah,
yeah,
probably it was also something unusual to him, I
yeah,
assume.
yeah. I mean, this
Um,
is a whole lot of 9 years of, from beginning to done. Congratulations was certainly due.
yeah, and so we were happy, and the baby was growing. Yeah, we're just hoping for the best, that everything is gonna be fine, because yes, we are satisfied that okay, now we have the pregnancy. Yes, we are throughout the pregnancy, but what's gonna be
Next.
the outcome?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how's your baby gonna be like? Like, is she gonna be, is she gonna
Do
have
you
it?
looking back now, how like what are your thoughts in terms of, you mentioned earlier that you had some concerns around the donor egg. Now that she's here, how do you feel about having had those concerns? Is that still something that crosses your mind, or do you feel
It did
like,
cross, yes, it did cross our mind, and definitely because, how do you say, like anonymous,
anonymous? Anonymous,
anonymous,
yeah.
yeah. So obviously we didn't know where
Yes.
the egg was coming from, and we just, yeah, hoped for the best, and trusted the clinic that they knew that, how to match, or
Yeah.
but yeah, obviously we had concerns, and looking back, it was it was difficult. Like, it's a lot of uncertainty still. How
Yeah.
is she gonna look like? And even now, like later, as she's developing and growing, like
I
right
mean,
now,
I have to say, looking at both of your daughters, they look very similar.
they do actually,
They do.
and
And
that's
I
the
think,
funny.
Frank, that's something to do with you as well.
And like, people don't know, like, most of the people around
Yeah.
us, just a close family. So other people say that, oh, I don't know who this baby is like. Like,
It's like, we do, we know. But it's so lovely. And so, but what about like in terms of your emotional concern? Like, because like obviously, children, even though like I have two boys and they look completely different. None of them look like me. If I didn't know that they came out of me, I'd be like, "Whose kids are you? I don't know." But what's really fascinating to me is that obviously you don't know what even a child that's fully biologically linked through, your own egg, your own sperm is going to develop, or how they're going to demonstrate their traits, right? And so I guess to that extent, there's always a question mark. But in terms of thinking through what you've been through to have Johanna at this point in your lives, would you have done something different?
Yeah, probably I would start the process earlier.
Yeah. Ah, interesting. Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, would
I
have
wish I
saved
could have.
some
I
time.
wish I could have deleted all those years, trying unsuccessfully, and went for donor egg
Earlier. Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah. And isn't that interesting? I sometimes have patients who are like, absolutely will never do donor egg. And until they've failed through multiple cycles of everything, they're not ready to even consider it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And I
but
think that you've spoken to that a little bit. It's
it's
like
it's so
I needed to go
understandable.
through the process, right? Of like figuring out, okay, is something else going to work before I take this next step that is questionable in my mind at the beginning. So I think that there is something to that as well, which is like sometimes we have to go through what we have to go through to be ready,
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
of
like
course,
that's
in hindsight, it's so easy to go, oh, I would have started earlier. Maybe.
yeah,
yeah, that's what I wanted to tell. That yeah, probably we would go through things earlier, but if you don't go through this, you probably don't get there. So
Yeah. Sometimes it's part of life, isn't it? The experiences as humans that we have to be ready for what's
yeah,
ours. I think that it's such a beautiful testament to the fact that, look, you guys kept going, you kept asking for you kept questioning, you kept going for answers, and at some point you decided, okay, what is next? And having to take that step is also a big decision. And so it's wonderful to see that you've both come together in one, making that decision as a couple, each for your own reasons, which is, also very understandable. But it's wonderful to see that, well, here you are, you really did get pregnant and you really did have your beautiful baby. And she is gorgeous. That is so lovely. So tell me, in terms of like, if somebody is kind of, on their journey and wanting to ask, what would you have, what would you say, what's a pearl of wisdom that you'd like to share with somebody who's still many steps behind?
I would say probably don't get offended when you don't get the answer what you hope for, because obviously I'm not talking against doctors and everything, but that's the hardest part when they don't know that on what you go through.
Yeah. Big, big journey.
yeah. It's so hard. Like everybody has to feel and know their own situation. I guess it's really hard to know when you say that this is it and that's the end. It's for us. It's the persistency and yeah, just determination. Probably from my side, mostly was that just didn't give up.
Yeah.
And there's so yeah, even I remember that when went for the second IV, I mean the second or third IVF, and we were full of hope, and this is it, we did everything, you took your annual leave to be able to just have a rest after the treatment, and because then you can say that yes, I've done everything possibly I could, and yeah, just matching everything and all that. You told your close family member, and they said that, yeah, but don't be too
Optimistic.
optimistic. Yeah, we got this, and yeah, it just then you fell off again. Um,
Yeah.
so these are really like I'm not. I think I'm less emotional usually, but still, there were really, really hard times.
Mm. Absolutely. And you
Uh,
guys made it through.
yeah, so determination and persistency and the other thing I think is that yeah, like everybody's situation is so different, but if somebody is watching this video or knowing that this happened to us and it can happen, then yeah, just trust the whole, I don't know, it's who knows who can control all this. Probably it's not us, but I always wanted to make sure that I've done everything possibly I could.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that that's the only thing you can actually do. There's a wonderful meme that I like to think of from time to time, and it says this: does the process know we're trusting it? You know, how people say trust the process. It's like, does the process know we're trusting it? Because,
Mm,
sometimes it's easy to question as we're going through and we can't see the other side. But, the process knows you're trusting it. Just trust the
mm,
process. It's like, it's one of those beautiful things in life to know that what you seeks you, right? And thank you so much, guys, for sharing your story, for being
mm.
so vulnerable. Frank, I know it's a really hard journey that you guys have been through, and at the same time I know that it was exactly how it needed to be for you to get to this moment and be
Mm.
able to say, hey, your little Joanna's here. And, it's so lovely
What
that
was
we
also hard,
get.
just one more thing to mention, that 2 months, just 2 months before Joanna was born, I lost my mom,
Mm.
who was yeah, she supported me throughout this journey all the time, and yeah, suddenly she passed away. So unfortunately she couldn't meet this little angel, um, and that was even just harder. And at the end of the pregnancy, that, hey, why is this happening to me? Really difficult, losing your mom, but at the same time having another baby in, after all these circumstances. Yeah,
You've gone
that
through so
was
much.
that was probably the biggest, like the hardest part after all. But it was worth having Joanna with us, and yeah, having a little sister for Annabella, that gives us so much happiness, and yeah, we are happy.
And when Joanna and Annabella are watching this video, when they're in their 20s, looking back.
Do you want to say something?
No.
Frank is like, no.
Yeah, I'm
That's
trying
right.
to guard Johanna to not fall and not.
You have to say something for Johanna when she's older. So we're gonna have to make you.
I would say that motivation is everything, and you can achieve your goal no matter what. Like, if you really stick it into your head, then yeah,
Go for
it
it.
can happen.
And if you believe it and you keep going, then you can make it.
Amen. Amen. Guys, thank you so much for sharing your beautiful story. It's such a privilege for us to be a part of your journey and to, having being able to walk with you. I always say that we hold our patients' hands from beginning to baby and beyond. And to me, it's nothing short of an absolute privilege to be a part of your family forevermore. So
Mm.
thank you for sharing, and thank you for joining us, and telling your story. Really appreciate it.
And thank you so much, Gabriella. And thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for your team, because it just meant a lot to us. I remember so many morning calls with Chloe, like, due to the time zone difference. Around this time, like 6 a.m. in the morning, when we consulted, like still sleepy and all that, but we made the most out of it, and we had such a good conversations with her, and not just Chloe, but others. Like, I remember that meditation session with Anne, and
The whole team.
so much others.
And for us, it's like, honestly, we just love to know that you are getting the support that you need, and it is holistic and integrative, and really focused on what it is that you need as a human. So.
And just that mentality that even when we just couldn't pay for their program anymore, I remember Chloe said that we're just not gonna let you down because of that. So I knew that it's still, there was someone there who
We're always here.
support
Always
us.
here to support you. Yeah.
We're so grateful as
Thank
well.
you.
I mean, I just think that without having your program and the service you offer, this couldn't have happened to us.
Well, I'm just so pleased and just so grateful that I get to be a part of it for you, and that we get to put together, all of the support that you've enjoyed and benefit from. And of course, that Joanna's here. That's what matters the most. So thank you once again. It's a wonderful privilege. So thank you for everything and for your kind words. It really means a lot. And I know that the team, they always love to watch these interviews, these creation stories, because they go down that, kind of the memory lane of what happened and how it happened. And it's just beautiful. So thank you so much. And we'll talk soon.
Thank you, Gabriella.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.